Nothing to see here either, citizen. What are you looking at behind every tree? Now you guys remember this Mac Davis international hit, Hard to Be Humble, back in the 1980, I think it was, yeah. Let's bring up a few of the words, just the opening verse. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect. I can't wait to look in the mirror, 'cause I get better looking each day. To know me is to love me, I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. Now, that is my first problem in this podcast of Saturday the 18th of February 2023. How do I, a retired flexible fluid and incredibly most humble messenger, ex-messenger, tell you I told you so without telling you I told you so? You see my problem? Because I did tell you so. Your president, Joseph R. Biden, has signed an executive order that will, after 30 days, create a slew of new departments within government agencies that will advance the noble cause of, drumroll people, equity, yep, the Masonic Creed, fraternity, equality, and liberty. Remember that one? If you forgot, you can always ask Dan the Mason Man. And this slew of new agencies will report their progress to a slew of new commissars, pay attention comrades, that will sit on powerful committees ensuring their mandates and edicts are enforced and implemented. Grab that line, citizen, and let's pull together. Let's read a little bit of President Biden's new executive order. And I'll tell you how you get her, people, because I'm not going to leave a link. You go to whitehouse.gov, one word. You click on Briefing Room. You scroll down. You hit the second page. And scroll down a little bit, and you get the fact sheet. The President Biden signs executive order to strengthen racial equity and support for underserved communities across the federal government. And I mean the total federal government. I'm going to read just a little bit, don't mean to bore you. On his first day in office, President Biden signed EO 13985, Advancing Racial Equity and Support for Underserved Communities through the federal government. That order emphasized the enormous human costs of systemic racism and persistent poverty. That goddamn effing systemic racism. When are they ever going to put an end to that? And provide a powerful and unprecedented mandate for all federal agencies. What part of all don't you get, people? All federal agencies to launch a whole of government approach to equity, liberty, fraternity, equity. You gotta love it. Okay, now you scroll down a little further. Let's see. Yeah, pretty cool. And you're going to come across the Department of Agriculture. And they're administering $3.1 billion in Inflation Reduction Act funding to distressed USDA farm loan borrowers, and is expediting assistance for those whose agricultural operations are at financial risk. The department will also provide $2.2 billion in assistance to farmers who have experienced discrimination in USDA's farm lending programs. Now, some of you, in fact, majority of my subs, live in rural areas, and if you don't, you should. You're thinking, hey, North Dakota's rural. I'm going to help you out here, people. Do not think North Dakota. If you're thinking rural America, think Mississippi, if you can kind of catch my drift here. Keep everything in perspective. And if you insist that this applies to North Dakota, think about 5 peculiar areas of our state, Belcourt being one of them, if you catch my drift there. Remember, I'm on YouTube. Gotta watch what I say. Now, this all sounds so good and wonderful and fair, but there's one group that's not represented. There is one Romeo Alpha Charlie Echo that is not going to be included. Yeah, they're going to include equality for the LGBTQI. Now that's a new one, plus individuals, but not us. Let me put it this way. I'm one of the us that is not included. So what did I tell you? What did I warn you about? I told you so. They want us isolated because they want us dead. And this should not be news to anyone. This has been going on for thousands of years. The war between Team Evil and Team Good. I don't know how many times I got to keep telling you that. So moving on. Now this might be a premature announcement, but I'm considering, now I said I'm considering, a new channel. A new channel, yep, on YouTube, but mirrored this time on Rumble and perhaps Brighteon. I've turned in my Watchman Messenger coat for my spanky, brand new freelance investigator sport coat with, of course, an action-packed expense account. Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon? But of course. Now, obviously, since my last daily podcast ended, y'all know I've been getting stuff done, because I'm all about stuff, and I know how to get stuff done. Doesn't mean I don't have more stuff to do. But what you don't know is that I have been conducting massive and detailed searches for biblical issues. I have had it with all the piss passing for facts that have been poured in my ear. And since my in-depth research started, and not wanting to give Murray any free press that will swell his hydrocephalic swollen head more, I'm shocked how deeply influenced our Bibles and biblical understanding are by his relatives. Truly, people, it's mind-boggling. You have to take my word for it to research it for yourself. And by the way, since we're on the topic, the subject of parasites, I haven't seen Murray lately at the bottom Peter Pit, which leads me to conclude, hopefully, fingers are crossed, he has found a new deep pockets victim he can mooch off of, hopefully, as I said. So, I fear my possible new channel announcement may not have mass appeal to the majority of my subs to this channel. Why is that? It's biblical matters, people, and I might have to quote some scripture, and some of you can't stand that. Oh yeah, people, although I have been searching diligently the past few weeks, I just can't find any site or channel that dares to nail it all down, including the controversial pieces, in one spot that is open to comments and discussions without being blocked or eliminated, removed. Discussions of, you got it, biblical matters. I've watched some interesting debates and a number of interviews of people holding pretty different divergent opinions, and the weak link is usually the stupid fucking moderator that can't or won't ask the right questions. And I'm really sick of that shit too, quite frankly. The Bible, properly translated, which is possible today in today's technology, is a history book, I've told you that, scientific book, and a book that declares the end from the beginning. Some of you might remember me asking you all, excuse me, this question. If you set out to find the Garden of Eden, where would you go? Middle East, perhaps? How about Africa? Remember what I told you? You better head to the PI. Yep, get up, get out. Yep, get up, get out of bed. Subic Bay is dead ahead. The Philippine Islands. And it's so timely. Well, just last week, I dealt with a situation. You ever heard the saying, the traitor within is far more dangerous than the standing army without? It's biblical, people. I could prove it to you, but I don't want to have to read you any scripture. And sadly, members of your own family, oh, that's the biblical part. That hits home fast. True, you're kind of stuck with your relatives, but you're not stuck with your circle of friends. You need to weed these dirty fuckers out before the shit hits the fan. And people, the shit is hitting the fan. Now, of course, I will keep you posted with periodic updates as I move along. But right now, you know it's Saturday, people, and you know I got stuff to do.